There are certain things you can set your watch to in movies. Tom Cruise will inevitably do a T-1000 run in all of his films. Quentin Tarantino will find any excuse to show a woman's bare feet. And Leonardo DiCaprio will choose a movie script that absolutely fires. I don't know if the dude has a really great agent or if he's just really tuned in to what's gonna work on screen. I suppose it helps that he continues to work with some of the greatest directors in the industry, going with Steven Spielberg, multiple times with Christopher Nolan, and here he goes again with Paul Thomas Anderson. I feel like DiCaprio also always does films that are like 3 hours long. Regardless, today I'm talking about One Battle After Another, and we're gonna find out if DiCaprio keeps his winning streak alive. Let's begin. Before jumping into my initial thoughts, if you wouldn't mind jumping to the subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, I would really appreciate it. It's free of charge, of course, here. It's quite the deal. With the obligatory requests out of the way, I want to talk about One Battle After Another and what you can expect from the film. Well, first of all, I already alluded to the runtime. It's a tidge under 3 hours. If you go to an AMC or a Regal, you're gonna hit 3 hours with those trailers. The Queen, Nicole Kidman, must get her red carpet walk to greet us to the AMC. Every single time. One Battle After Another is rated R. It's got some salty language, it's got some violence, and it's got a little bit of sexual content. Some people are gonna rush out and see this movie based on the director alone, Paul Thomas Anderson. He's a household name for many. For me, I've kind of slept on a lot of his filmography. Obviously, I love Boogie Nights, and I would say There Will Be Blood is my favorite of the Paul Thomas Anderson I've seen. I would say it's even better than this one. That said, One Battle After Another, no slouch. I had a very fun time watching this movie from beginning to end. It does take a little bit to get you invested in what's going on and the tone that it's setting, because this is kind of a wackadoo, somewhat silly, zany-esque type of feature. And you would think with the tone that's set here, it would not jive with the material, but you'd be wrong. I was having a blast with this movie. Keep in mind, we are following domestic terrorists, Leonardo DiCaprio being the main protagonist here. He and his gal, Perfidia Hollywood, are taking on the institutions. They're going after the man. Kind of. They're part of a radical revolutionary group known as the French 75. And the main antagonist they're up against is Colonel Lockjaw, played by Sean Penn. And I gotta say, Sean Penn's either been hitting the gym, hitting the juice, or hitting some sort of a bodysuit, because this guy looks disgustingly jacked. Those veins are about ready to burst on the sides of his arms. And speaking of Sean Penn, completely transformed in this role. I really liked him as this uppity, stick up his ass, really alpha colonel who's one part incredibly dangerous and unhinged, and another part kind of a comical joke. But that can be said for the majority of both the characters and the structure of this movie, which is a hot mess by design. Outside of Benicio del Toro's character, who is cool as a cucumber. That guy was so good in this movie, stealing the scenes effortlessly when he's there. I was foolishly on Twitter this morning and I saw some critic, I guess he calls himself one, who said that One Battle After Another is radicalizing far leftist groups and glamorizing local terrorism. I stupidly responded. I don't know why. They don't mean what they say. All these voices online on these platforms just are yelling the most extreme, vile bullshit just so they can win brownie points with their selected audience. But I had to say something as both a movie lover and an appreciation of the arts. And so I replied, I don't know if you actually watched the movie or if you are just saying something you know not to be true for some clout, but there was no part of this film, in my opinion, that glamorized terrorism. And if you thought that after watching this film, you probably also watched something like Breaking Bad and thought, you know what, they really glamorized the meth industry. What? Come on. What I really liked about the screenplay for One Battle After Another is it doesn't seem too caught up or interested in painting one side as right, one side as righteous, and vice versa. Instead, it's just poking fun at a lot of different aspects, and it also points out the sheer hypocrisy that many people have. It's not so much about a movement or a policy or an agenda, it's about people, and it's about individuals and the choices they make. For instance, Teyana Taylor's character, coming off as the all-knowing, all-righteous one of the group, it's gonna turn out as kind of a coward, and weak, and pathetic. Whereas Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Bob, doesn't seem all that interested in a revolution. Sure, he plays along, he has some catchphrases and whatnot. It more so seems like he just wants to belong somewhere. He wants a family. He wants the white picket fences without coming out and saying it. There's no real heroes in this movie. Everyone comes out of this movie a little dirty. But that doesn't mean there's not sympathy to be granted to even some of the more unsavory characters in this movie. And that's why I do really think this screenplay is brilliant. It is not a black and white sort of a situation. These people have layer to them. They show their true colors when the time comes. And sometimes the colors that bleed out don't paint the person in the best of light. So outside of maybe a 20-minute acclamation to what this movie's trying to do, you are flying through this almost 3-hour runtime. I could easily rewatch this film, and I plan on doing that when it comes home. Because again, there's some layered commentary, but even more so, there's some hilarious parts of the film. The dark comedy really works for me. We have like a deep state group that's freaking fun as shit to watch. There is an Underground Railroad-esque type sequence that is so damn well executed. And this music, I have to talk about the music and the production values as a whole. Visually, this is a beautiful looking film, and it is a film. None of that digital bullshit. We have tried and true camera lenses on display here. The music is popping nonstop. It's just percolating in the background. Sometimes it rises, sometimes it cools, but it's always there. It's always simmering just above the folds, waiting to let itself be known again when the action starts to ramp up. Some of the tricks Paul Thomas Anderson is doing with the camera is really cool. There's a car chase at one point where you're kind of going over these hills like they're waves in the ocean, and you just don't know what to expect. Granted, you could argue he maybe holds this stuff for about 3 minutes longer than he needs to. I thought the payoff was well done, though. And I think Leonardo DiCaprio, once again, found himself a golden ticket. He found another script that really plays to an endless amount of strengths that he has. He's always fantastic on screen. Here is no exception. The supporting actors all do a great job as well. It's just overall a damn good movie. I would say it's easily in my top 3 for the year. I don't know if I'd say it's top 1. I'm unsure if it surpasses Sinners. I'm gonna have to give it a second watch to figure that out. But either way, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. I would definitely check this out in theaters, and if you can, pony up for the IMAX because the visuals are definitely worth it. All right, that's all I got for you on One Battle After Another. Let me know if you saw it, or maybe I tipped you in the right direction now. I would appreciate a comment, a like, and again, subscribe to Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. It's free of charge. You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. All right, that's all I got for you. Hopefully I see you next time. Take care. If you appreciate my content, I am a one-man band. This is a ton of work, and you want a way to give back. Head on over to patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. There's tons of exclusive perks over there. Look at these awesome supporters so far. There's some of the best people on this planet, and you could be one of them. You could be right there alongside, and I would appreciate it.